Athletic, bold, commanding. We're talking about the Equinox EV. We're also talking about this show right here. We got a lot. We got a packed show. Cal Clutterbuck, Keegan Bradley, the United States Ryder Cup captain. And then we've got Lauri Loewenberg, who is a dream expert, coming off the voicemail from the last show. It's a packed one, fellas. It's athletic, it's bold, it's commanding, and it's like the Equinox EV from Chevy.
Absolutely packed show. Scottish Open week, the whole deal. We're leading up to the Open Championship. We get a nice check-in from Cal Clutterbuck, New York Islander, 17-year NHL vet, all-time leader in hits, I believe, is what we like to call him. He checked in. He's playing in the New York State Open, which is a lot of fun, and he also sticks around for the Keegan Bradley. I think that was like a 40-minute conversation with the Ryder Cup captain. They have a really good. Cal has a great perspective on the team aspect of what Keegan's about to have to wrangle in, and it's interesting. And there's a lot of good talk in there. I love talking to Keegan Bradley. He's one of the biggest stories in golf right now. So awesome to get him on the show.
There's
And
also just more
the
credibility.
dream stuff was crazy, by the way.
Dream stuff, yeah. Like, we're a golf podcast, kinda. When you get into the dream stuff, you're gonna be like, this is not a golf podcast.
Correct.
Like, but it's really interesting stuff. If you're interested at all in dreams, if you've ever had a single dream in your life, you're gonna want to hear what this lady has to say.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's interested in dreams. It's like, dreams are fascinating. What she had to say was she studied dream psychology, I believe is what she said she studied, and we talked to her for like 40 minutes. So the whole deal, it's a packed show, like we said. You get a little bit of the United States Ryder Cup captain, you get Cal Clutterbuck, and you get the dream experts. You get all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
If it's something else you're looking for, like distance, Equinox EV offers 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front wheel drive. The Equinox EV has a massive 17-inch diagonal center screen, the largest of any EV in its class. Why are we tying Chevy into all this? Because they present all of it. They make all of this possible. They make the show possible. So huge thanks to Chevy, especially the Equinox EV. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make.
I'm consciously just looking at you, and you're telling me in 2 seconds that I'm no longer going to be doing that. I can't wrap my head around it, and then I end up falling asleep and I wake up. Yeah, no, I know this is a lot to unpack. I didn't know.
Wow, it was a perfect answer.
Moving on.
Frankie, we stopped recording 15 minutes ago.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We got myself, Frankie, and Trent. It will not just be the three of us for very long because we got a packed show. I know we kind of mentioned it off the top with the good old friends at Chevy Ad, our presenting sponsor for years, by the way. Thank you, Chevy, Equinox EV. We love you. But we got a lot going on. Biggest thing we got going on, Keegan Bradley. I'm excited to listen to this. I wasn't here for that. We had the Barstool Classic. You two sat down with Keegan, Cal Clutterbuck there as well, who's one of our favorites to play golf with, to talk golf. He's a phenomenal player, probably the best player golf-wise out of the NHL in however long. And then, if folks recall, we had the call from Hawaii earlier in the week, the from the gallery, and it was a recurring dream that we all seem to have. So we had Lauri, a dream expert, on the show, not really expecting what we were going to get into. We went about 40 minutes into a pretty incredible therapy session related to dreams and knowledge and information, and it was quite something. So we got a hell of a show today.
Yeah, it was a therapy session, really, and it's got me thinking for a while now about what I got going on. There's a lot of things that she kind of said "wow" to me a couple times, which she's a dream expert, had thousands and thousands of hours of dreams dissected and kind of like thought through. And when I told her a couple of mine and my reasonings behind it, she actually said "wow" multiple times. So that was interesting for sure. And yeah, Cal Clutterbuck, great guy. Love having him in as like that extra mic whenever someone is on the road. He's just so knowledgeable in the game of golf, obviously hockey, and the way that he could talk from a team aspect. I mean, the guy's played international plays, played in the NHL for 17 years. He's doing the Islanders broadcast this year, so he's definitely getting into the media game a little bit more. And just nice to hear from the guy that he's been around the block in world sports.
Yeah, and with Keegan, pretty much every point that we have debated in terms of Ryder Cup captain, playing captain, rookies versus vets, captain's picks, we talk about all of that with Keegan. And it was really great to get some insight just from the guy who's going to be making all of the decisions. So that was a good 40 minutes with our guy Keegan.
There's one question I asked him that I thought it was a great question for me, where I said, have you taken from past captains? Because he's played on multiple teams, and what have you taken from past captains? And that answer he gave was
great.
So awesome. Like, like, I thought maybe it'd be hard to, like, rack your brain around, like, all right, this guy, like, he had moments that he is pulling from that these are core memories of other captains that have done things to him that he now will enact when he's the captain. I thought that was so cool. I'd never seen him really answer anything like that. And for us to go back and look at those moments now, we can even get the pictures and the moments he's talking about. They're on camera. So cool to me. So Keegan's just the fucking best. The fact that that guy's leading USA on it in what's going to be the biggest Ryder Cup of our lifetime at this point. I mean, Bethpage,
Yes.
what happened in Rome, Live and PGA Tour still going on. Like, it's just the biggest that you can get. New York, it's huge, and he is most likely going to be a playing captain. So to have him on the show for 40 minutes is great. And we talk about the Travelers, of course, and all that. He gives great kind of insight into that last hole. And yeah, great to hear from Keys.
So without further ado, like we said, pack show. We know next week is a major championship week, leading up to the Open Championship at Port Rush. Rory had some very funny comments today about courses and venues, so we'll get into all of that and gear up for a major week next week. We'll be together for a lot of next week. We'll be out on the West Coast filming, so we'll talk about that as well. So we'll get into a bunch of that next week. But now, without
real
further
quick before
ado,
you get in, he makes a comment real quick, Keegan, just like he just says it real quick, and I know you're going to get to it, so this is kind of like spoiling it, but this isn't like spoiling anything. He says that Jim Furyk had 188 top 10. And when you hear that name, that is the most absurd amount of top 10s. Bro, I mean, it's right. Like, I thought he said like he has 188 top 10s. It's like me saying a million. Bro, 188 top 10s is absurd.
Dude, if you look at, we're going to get to the show in a second, I promise.
Of course. I mean, it's a golf podcast.
But if you look at like all-time money winners, and Riggs, you might know the number even, like he's in the top maybe 10 of all-time PGA Tour money winners.
He
Jim
might
Furyk.
be top 5. He might be top 5.
He's just been
Jim
consistently finishing. And listen, Jim Furyk's a great golfer, obviously, but I don't think he would be a name that if you were to like, all right, list 6. If you were to list out the top 6 PGA Tour money winners, Jim Furyk, I don't think would be on a lot of people's lists.
$71.5 million he made playing in just from the PGA Tour prize pool.
He's been so consistent, and all those top 10s, that's obviously a shit ton of money. So shout out to Jim Furyk. I mean, Keegan also gives so many compliments to Jim throughout the interview. So he's had a hell of a career, man.
Most top 10 since the 1983 season. Can you guess?
Jim Furyk.
Tiger Woods,
199. Okay. Second place.
Jim Furyk.
198. There you go, Riggs. Third, Jim Furyk. How about our guy BJ Singh with 185 top 10?
That guy is a stud, dude.
Then you got Davis.
Nobody
Love
talks
the third.
about BJ Singh.
Davis Love the third with 179. Freddie Couples 155, and Scott Hawk.
I actually agree with you, Riggs. Not enough people, for as big of a figure as he was in the world of golf during his run, people do not talk about him.
He unseated Tiger Woods there in the early 2000s. Dude, the all-time money winners on tour, Tiger Woods, then Rory McIlroy, then Scotty Scheffler, then Jim Furyk, then VJ Singh. How insane is that?
Hilarious that Scotty's all the way up there. How far ahead is Rory of Scotty?
Rory is like $20 million ahead of Scotty.
Give Scotty one season and he'll.
I know.
I mean, if Rory doesn't win or doesn't play, I guess.
Boy, did anyone on earth pick the right time to be the dominant player in golf on the PGA Tour? It's Scotty Scheffler. I mean,
BJ Singh, though, dude, finished 18 times in the top 10 in the 2003 season, 2004 season, and 2005 season.
Dude, he was a
18
motherfucker.
times, bro. That's 18. Dude, these guys only play 20 tournaments. I mean, how many tournaments do they play?
I know.
25 tournaments.
I know.
These guys top 10 18 times, 3 years in a row. Guy Scheffler's done that. He was 17 top 10s in 22 and 23, and then Tiger Woods. Yeah, Tiger Woods has done it 17 times and then 16 times, 3 times. He's been 17 top 10. That's fuck. These are crazy. Dude, top 10s are so hard. We talk all the time about you're top 10 in a PGA Tour event. You're 1 or 2 strokes away over 4 days. So the fact that Jim Furyk could have like potentially won 188 PGA Tour events, like it was within his grasp. You know,
it was close.
That's a hilarious.
What a stud.
I just had to get that off my chest because like I was talking about it last night with a couple of buddies. Like I was setting that out. Like that's just such an absurd name to have such a. And then you got Sam Snead with 330 top 10s, but all of his. I mean, those are not real. Like
that's a tournament with 10 people in them.
Yeah, that's like the Rangers
Right.
won 3 cups before polio was cured. Like, it was just like there was 7 teams, so of course they made it to the Stanley Cup final.
How about Keegan, 14th all time in the money list?
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
That's really good.
Wow.
Dude, he's played through like a crazy generation, you know? Like he's
True.
been solid for the last 5 years, and that's just when all the money matters, you know? It's like, and then he also won a major like 15 years ago. It's like,
It's
Right.
amazing
Like you
how
got to
much
think
he's
I'd be actually be
accumulated.
very curious what spot he was in before he won this last Travelers. Like that probably vaulted him up 10 spots. I mean, he won $4
Right.
million.
Yeah, it's a lot.
yeah, true.
And obviously the money list is like, it's hard to kind of compare because like money is just so fun. They're throwing so much money at this thing. I mean, you want to talk about the money list, like Chet Holmgren, the guy on frickin' the Thunder, just signed a 5-year, $250 million deal. Sport money is out of control at this point.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
You got guys making 50 mil. I mean, it's crazy. So like, yeah, of course, like, you know, Tiger would have been accumulating $1 billion at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have.
Yeah, so let's get to Keegan, that guy, top 14 money on the money list. Insane that he's going to be on our show.
All right. Let's throw it to the interviews. Everyone enjoy the rest of the show. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll be back next week. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard. Cal Clutterbuck joins Foreplay.
I'm back.
You are back, man. How's it been going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. I got a little golf news. I'm playing in the New York State Open in 2 weeks.
Oh,
So
where's that going to be held?
That's at Glen Oaks.
Wow, I've watched you rip around that place. I mean, that is that's a familiar spot for you. All right, so how you feeling?
Nervous as shit.
This is your first big golf
First.
event that you'll ever play in.
First real golf tournament. Yeah. I'm nervous.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, listen, we've always talked about the fact that you have the potential to be, I think you could be up there for best athlete, non-golf athlete golfer. I've watched you shoot like 65, no problem out there. You've got the potential, but you've played 17 years in the NHL. You never really had time to really hone in your game. So now, you know, post-career, this is exciting. The fact that you get to go out and play some competitive golf, really start to push your game, see where it can go. So are you preparing for this? Like as if it's a golf tournament, or are you just doing the Cal Clutterbuck, go out there, hit off of, truly cans and
Yeah.
have a fun time?
A little bit of both. I think I actually kind of like the way I'm hitting it right now. So I'm trying my best not to like overdo it with practice. Like, here's the thing. Like, I hit driver really well. So I'm not going to go out there and hit 300 drivers, because if I do, I'm going to be thinking about what I'm doing while I'm hitting driver. So I'm going to hit 10 drivers a day until I head up there, because I don't want to, like, you know how you, when you play or practice too much, like for guys who aren't like so dialed in with their swing, like something can like creep in.
Yeah.
I don't want to creep in. So I'm going to do a lot of like short game work, just chipping around, like nothing coached, just kind of like go out there and just get that feeling for, like, you know, hit a couple high ones, hit a couple low ones, hit a couple 60 yarders. The other thing too is my wedges. If my wedges are good, I might be able to make some birdies out there. So I'm just gonna, I think the weekend leading up, it starts on a Monday. So the weekend leading up, I'm just gonna do some short game practice and do a couple range sessions with my irons, and then hope for the best.
Because those are going to be the best amateur, aspiring golfers in the state that are all going to be showing up to that thing. So the competition is going to be insane.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough. I know Craig's career has been working on making that place firm and fast and growing the rough out for like,
It's like playing the Masters.
a year.
I mean, people are going to hear me say that and they're going to be like, there's no chance. But Glen Oaks, when it is dialed up,
Yeah.
is legitimately like Augusta National. They
Yeah.
call it the Augusta of the North. I mean, the place is so pure, but the greens are so firm and they run so fast.
Yeah.
And it is so tight. It's crazy how hard that place can get.
Realistically, you could hit 18 greens and still shoot 78. You know what I
Easily.
mean? So it's gonna be up to me to keep my focus and make sure that I'm really, really putting well. Which traditionally for me has been a bit of an issue, but I've done a lot of work in that department. I've gotten a lot better, so I'm feeling good about it.
We've got Keegan Bradley coming up, which you're going to hop on with us for, which I'm excited about. I'd be crazy not to just bring up hockey real quick before we get to the Ryder Cup captain. Draft has come and gone. The New York Islanders had the #1 overall pick. I think they dominated draft day. I mean, there's been some crazy changes. Obviously, Lou's not there. We've got a new GM came in, made some aggressive moves, and I think the future looks bright with this Matthew Schaefer. He was just on Spittin' Chicklets for anyone that wants to go listen to that interview. But what are you thinking right now, just in terms of hockey and where the Islanders are at, and even for yourself, like getting drafted? I always wonder, like, everyone's kind of draft story when you got drafted. I know you were, what, 72nd overall, I think I saw on the Wikipedia.
Yeah. I think I was the pick right before Brad Marchand. So that
Were
works.
you really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. he was either 71 or 73. I can't remember which, but my draft story is funny. I was projected, like, I think I was ranked like 29th North American skater, which puts you somewhere in the middle of the second round, late second round, which is pretty well where I ended up going. And so my draft was in Vancouver. I was living in Niagara Falls. It's like a 6-hour flight. And my agent was like, you don't want to go sit there for, 5 hours and not get your name called. And then your name gets called and you go and do the, those horrible photos they make all the draft picks take, like, sticking out and like flaming.
The Brock one is all time coming through the curtain.
That's what I mean. I didn't want to have that out there. So I threw a huge keg party at my house with all my friends, my parents' friends. I had like 100 people over and we were refreshing it on the computer. So I was just kept hitting refresh and then my phone rang. My mom came outside and got me. I actually thought it was going to be the Islanders because I think they picked 71. So I had good interviews with them. I thought it was going to be them. And then I got on the phone and it was the guy from Minnesota. So I was like, knew nothing about Minnie, then went outside and had a great night. And it was cool. But the Islanders, I have to give Matthew Darch a lot of credit. It takes a lot of confidence in your plan and in your own sort of way of thinking to go out there and be as bold as he was. I mean, a lot of people will say the Islanders have won the draft strictly based on the first overall pick. But, if you look at the Islanders, they were kind of in this gray area, like they kind of plateaued. And it looked to me like they were going to be probably like a bubble playoff team in the future, unless there was some form of recalibration done. And I think really we had our prospect cupboard was very bare. And I think when you look at the future of the team, he happened to pick Noah and move Noah, but not only did he do that, he did it and he was immediately able to pick two guys, which I think have a shorter span.
No way. There it is. Oh my God. No way.
Like, that looks like a cult photo. You put that jersey out, like, it's just like, what is that?
He was paying $499 for that. Oh my God,
I would to blow that thing up and just.
Oh my God, that is the best photo I've ever seen in my entire life. He's not gonna be happy about that.
Oh my God. So good. But the Islanders basically replenished in a day and a half. And they picked, from what I can see, good players. And I think he made the tough choice of, like, is Noah going to be our number one guy moving forward? Or how much money does he want? And does that fit in our plan? And it didn't add up. So he acted quickly. And I know he was trying to probably take those picks and trade up to get Hagens too. But, that didn't work out. And I think he's in a great spot. I think he's doing a good job of shoring up some of the positions, some of those roles that might have been lacking. But you never know. You'll see the product when they get out there in October. I'm excited. I'm going to do a lot of games this year. I'm signed up to do 50 games.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I'll be on TV, following them around, traveling around with them. So I'm excited for the year.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's really good. It's more just the vibe too. Like, there's the fans all packed the practice arena, and they're there for the scrimmage. And it's like it seemed like ticket sales weren't doing that great last year. And like there was like a real weird lull over the organization. And all of a sudden you just resurgence of a lot of life. And it's like, boom, here we go. Now we're all excited. And for guys that aren't even going to be on the team, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even know if they're going to be on the team, but there's just that life. There's that heartbeat back. And it happens overnight. So that's exciting. And that goes a long way when you have fans packing out your practice rink. And there's like, you could hear Schaefer talk today on Spittin' Chicklets about just like, man, the fans are crazy. It's like, I mean, if you would have asked them last year, it'd been like, there was no one there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the change in just the morale and the fan base, it's huge. And even now to kind of segue that to golf and what we're about to talk to with Keegan, like the Ryder Cup, like that is what, athletes need. That you need that juice behind it, or else it's like, what are we actually doing here?
I mean, you do. Like, you're winning your home games in the NHL is a huge deal. Like, Jacques Lemaire used to always say, if you can play 750 hockey at home, you can go and play 500 hockey on the road. You're making the playoffs, and it's huge. The Coliseum was our biggest gift. Like, you know, you go there, and there could have been 7,500 people in there, but it was loud. And I can tell you, the other team, and from talking to people and being a visiting player, having played in that building, we wanted nothing to do with it. You don't want to be there because it was hostile and it was like loud. And I think fans, and especially Islander fans, just want hope. They want to be able to hope that the direction that they're heading in is the right direction. And I think that hope had sort of waned. And I think, like I said, in 2 or 3 days, that optimism came flooding back to the fan base, and you saw them flood through. And now, you know, it's up to them to develop those guys the right way, put them in the right situations. And I think Schaefer makes the opening day lineup. I think he's obviously good enough. I think he definitely gets 9 games. Whether they want to keep him up all year, we'll see. But they're in a great spot. And like I said, they took a team that was kind of aging out and kind of plateaued, and they shot some life into it. So
fuck yeah,
exciting times.
So excited. Can't wait. Gotta get him to Borelli's.
We'll get him.
Oh yeah. All right. I think we get to Keegan Bradley. I mean, Keegan Bradley's coming up. Ryder Cup captain, Travelers winner. Took one from our guy Tommy Ladd. We'll get into that. And you got the New York State Open. We got a lot of exciting stuff here. It's just, you know, this is the heat of summer. This is where everything happens right now. I cannot wait.
Right. It's hot out there, man.
It is hot. I know. It really is. We're actually, Brendan, I could talk about where we're about to go. No?
Yeah.
Dude, we're about to go play Olympic Club and then shoot over to Cyprus and do 2 videos.
No, you're doing it on camera?
We're doing it on camera, bro. Wow. We're playing Trent, Riggs, and myself at Olympic Club. The top 2 get to go play at Cyprus.
So you're doing like a little qualifier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How sick.
Stroke play, or
I don't know what the format is yet. I mean, I would assume stroke play doesn't typically help Riggsy, as you saw the 25K match, because he would have won that match if it was match play, and he lost it because it was stroke play. But no, I mean, I've never played Cyprus, obviously, so that we're super jacked up about that. We're leaving Monday. It would be next week. It would be a whole kind of like West Coast foreplay travel series to 2 golf courses that like you can't even look. Like, it's funny, we do travel series to like resorts and stuff. Like, oh, come here and stay in these cabins. Like, now we're gonna do one at like Cyprus and Olympic Club.
Well, the resorts, like it's free promo, right? Like, they love it. But a lot of those clubs, like, they don't even want to be mentioned, let alone.
No.
That's huge.
No. Yeah, no, we're pumped. So hopefully my game can kind of, you know, I got to get out this week and just at least hit a couple drives and see where it's at, because I haven't been playing much. But super excited.
I think the stroke play kind of favors Trent, Daddy. No, I mean, if you're getting shots, like
if he's getting shots, for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Like I watched one video you guys did. I think it's just hard for you and Riggs to like make up those strokes. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that was always the issue when we had Lurch too. Like, it would be Lurch and Trent versus Riggs and myself, and like we'd be playing 2-man scrambles, but like they'd be getting like 6 shots because Trent was like a 25 in a scramble.
Yeah,
and we're like, how are we supposed to, like, Lurch himself can shoot a 75. So like, how are we supposed to beat this guy?
Yeah.
And then Trent would always hit his like baby fades right down the middle and then put Lurch, you know, right on the green if he missed the green. It was very, very difficult for us to win. Yeah. Trent is sneaky, a really hard team to beat.
Mm-hmm.
He really is, because he's solid.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets a lot of pop. So, but yeah, man, really pumped. Best of luck to you at the Open. We'll be checking, not to put any more pressure on you, but we'll be checking the leaderboard and seeing how you're doing.
Yeah.
And let's just get to Keegan Bradley. Let's talk to the captain of the Ryder Cup, Keegan Bradley.
This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Sports Drink. Trent's got some of the Body Armor water right there. This summer, cool off with Body Armor Chill, a bold new way to hydrate with no artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners. Enjoy a new refreshing, cooling sensation in 3 impossibly cold flavors. We got frozen berry, frozen cherry, and frozen orange. We're into the summer part of the Barstool Classic, by the way. Body Armor's a big part of it. They're out there. They're providing all kinds of sports drinks, waters. And we were in Vegas last week, hot, like 110 degrees out there. We were in Southern California just yesterday, hot. There's not a ton of wind out there. Luckily, just the Body Armor keeps you hydrated. It's good for you. It doesn't have, again, any of the artificial dyes, flavors, sweeteners, none of that stuff. So available for a limited time. Grab yours at 7-Eleven or at a store near you. If you are going to trade crypto, do it right. No sketchy platforms, no sketchier customer support. That's why we only trust Kraken. Kraken lets you buy, sell, and swap over 300 cryptos without the lag, crashes, or clownery. Buying crypto manually, that's old school. Recurring buys let you automate your investments so you stack sats without even thinking about it. DCA done right. Buy more when prices dip, less when they spike. Link your bank in minutes. You can just set it, forget it, and let your portfolio grow. Look, again, we got into the crypto, this world, just the whole world in general. I don't know that we're the most well-versed people. Kraken lets you do it right and gives you a lot of trust and faith in the whole operation.
That's the thing. You got to go with a trusted source. You can't be entering that world with a sketchy source. You're going to end up with, I don't know what you're going to end up with, but it's not going to be a good thing. Kraken, they are a trusted source for crypto. You go with them. You know they're going to do the right thing. They're going to help you out. They're going to hold your hand. It's a great platform to get started into the crypto world.
Yeah, and as you grow up, you gotta be good at this stuff, and you have to be, using the trusted, the trusted companies when it comes to this stuff, because there's a lot of things out there. There's AIs, all these things that are coming at you. Kraken's the one that we trust. They are the official partner of Barstool Sports, so make sure you're going with Kraken.
Refer your friends as well. Kraken will hook you up with up to $200 in USDG just for spreading the love. So quit waiting. Head to kraken.com/barstool. That is kraken.com/barstool. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss and is offered to U.S. customers, excluding Washington, New York, and Maine, through Payward Interactive Incorporated.
Ryder Cup merch and all. Captain Keegan Bradley has joined the show. Dude, every time we talk to you, it feels like you got something huge going on, right? Like the last time we talked to you, you became the captain. Now you're winning golf tournaments. I love speaking to you at like the biggest moments of your life. You've got all these things going on. How are you feeling right now, dude? I know you're doing a bunch of shows. You just won the Travelers, the whole deal. What's going on in Keegan's world right now? I just want to hear right off the top.
Well, it's constant madness. Like I every day it's a new thing. Actually today my son just left for drive, chip, and putt, and like I'm so nervous for him. Like it's like horrible. I can't believe I'm reliving this like horrible junior golf thing again. But it's a crazy time, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we got Cal Clutterbuck here on the show. He's been hopping in with us a lot. Was it 17 years in the NHL, Cal?
17 years, yeah, in the
17
NHL.
years in the NHL, gives us a good
Awesome.
perspective on, just that team aspect, that team atmosphere. Obviously, you're going to be going into that pretty strong here at Bethpage. One of the things I've been really wanting to know from you is, now that you've won, and I know that you've probably been asked this a million times and you've been thinking about this, like, how are you feeling now going in, now preparing for yourself to play in the Ryder Cup? You're going to be in that top 6. You're playing really good golf. You've also got the captaincy, leading the team, leading a group of men, your peers. How are you juggling all of this right now mentally? Like, how are you working on your own game? Are you still working on the process of leading? What's going on right now?
The interesting part about this whole thing is like I have no blueprint of somebody I can lean on that's done this, or like what to do in this situation, or I can call, X player that did this and we can figure this out, what they did. I have no blueprint here. So I'm learning this as I go. We all are. The Ryder Cup vice captain, the PGA of America, everybody's sort of learning as we go here. And, I think that the interesting part about this is when I've said this a million times, but when I leave the course, I can be a Ryder Cup captain. And when I'm inside the ropes, I get to be, I can let that go a little bit. And I think both have sort of helped me focus and not focus on a specific part of my life. So, I'm not worried about hit my driver terrible today. I got to go work on that. Or after I leave the course, I'm going to be a Ryder Cup captain. And I think that sort of helped me on both sides.
I guess my question for, the playing captain, and I get what you're saying where it hasn't happened in so long that it's hard to ask anybody, but like what it would be like. But as a guy who's been on Ryder Cup teams, what is the bandwidth you need once the event starts? What is your role as the captain, and how would that affect you if you're playing like that? I guess that's my question of like, obviously you can ask Ryder Cup captains, like, what's it like once the event starts? I'm just curious if you play, if that's going to pull you away. Can you still fulfill all your roles? Is that where your vice captains step in? Is that where they sort of take over? Like, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, so I mean, when I started this whole process, I was in this alone. I didn't have any vice captains, so the thought of playing was completely ridiculous. And then I named Webb, and it got a little better. And then I named Sneds, and then it got a lot better. And then I named Kisner, and it's like, okay, we got a team going here. Then I got Furyk. It was reversed, those two, and Furyk brings just this amazing amount of knowledge and of being a captain, of winning a President's Cup, of playing in a billion team events, brings this, like, he can give me details of what it's like to be a captain that only a captain can. That's
Right.
what I've learned, is like the only people that really get it are our captain. You think but you really don't. And then, adding Gary Woodland, and then we got another amazing perspective, and they all complement each other. So the task of maybe playing again, I'm
Yep.
not like, this isn't like a guaranteed thing. It's much more manageable now. And like, I'll have to rely on these vice captains more than the other captains might. Even if I don't play, I still have to rely on them probably more than any other captain has. I've never been a captain. So like, I have to, no matter what, these vice captains are going to probably have a bigger role than the other vice captains have had. And, I feel lucky to have these guys, and we're going to be able to handle this. Like, we're going to be able to handle this. I only want to put the team in a position to win. So if that means me playing, then I'm going to play. If that means me not playing, I'm not going to play. If that means me playing all 5 or 1 match, that's what we're going to do. That's all I care about. I have no hidden agendas of wanting to play or not wanting to play. I just want to do what's best for the team.
Well, I think what's cool about it is you put yourself in that position, first of all, which is awesome. But I've played in some of these tournaments. For Team Canada, you go away and play in a World Championship or whatever. And it's a really cool experience because, as you know, I'm sure you come together for a short period of time. A bunch of guys who are, and a lot of times, rivals coming together to try and compete for a common goal. What about that excites you? Like, what about that? Is that the feeling that you get going in as the captain, being able to sort of find the secret potion, the chemistry that those guys are going to have? I know these guys are pretty familiar with each other, but what's your kind of mindset and approach towards personalities versus play?
So the Ryder Cup teams that I played on were Tiger, Phil, Stricker, Furyk. These guys, it's 100% turnover on this team than the last Ryder Cup teams I've played on. And the approach is way different. These guys are way softer to one another. They're legitimate friends. Our team room was amazing, but like we were like, these guys are like legit. Let's get the families together. Let's go to the Bahamas, or let's get these guys went on a golf trip after the British Open last year, a bunch of them. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, I'm looking to get home. These guys are like going to Ireland and hanging together. And so they genuinely want what's best for each other. Like, Jordan Spieth wins a tournament, and there they are waiting for him. And it's not BS. Like, they're so pumped for their friend. So like, my job as the captain, I feel like, is easier than it used to be, in that these guys are close, and they legit are like, what can I do for the team? Who can I play with that's going to help? Which rookie can I go with? As in the past, I think we sort of had like, okay, we know I'm going to play with Phil, or this guy's going to play with this guy, or Tiger plays with it. Like, these guys are willing to do whatever. And not that the other teams weren't, but I think they're more apt, because of how close they are, to just do whatever we want with whatever we think is best.
You've had captains in the past. Is there anyone specific that did anything that you'll kind of pull from? Like, did you have a specific captain that you're like, oh, I really like the way that they handled that?
Yeah, I think so. What I've sort of done is, what I'm sort of doing is taking everything that I love from each captain that I had. So like, Freddie Couples brought this like really chilled out atmosphere of like, this is so fun, and who don't worry about like sort of like, he just created this really relaxed
Got
atmosphere.
no gloves on. He's just walking
Yeah, like,
around.
he came over. I was coming up 18 at the President's Cup one time, and playing alternate shot at Memorial, and I hit this perfect drive down the middle of the fairway, and there used to be this tree in the middle of the fairway. It was ridiculous, but the hole's so hard, and I hit this amazing drive down the middle on Memorial, and I would get up there, and it's directly behind this tree, and I'm like, pacing around like, holy shit, I just lost this match after a perfect drive. And Freddie Couples came over and like did the arm around me thing. His pad didn't move where he like holds you. And he goes, wait till you see, you got Phil Mickelson's going to hit this shot. And Phil gets up and hits this like roll hook around the tree to like 10 feet. It was unbelievable. And like, so I remember that moment of like, he did make me laugh. Like he did, like it relaxed me. And then I remember moments of Davis Love, brought a little different atmosphere. And he said some things to me during the week that really helped my first Ryder Cup play. Phil Mickelson, like he said some things that really helped me. So I'm taking all those little things, but also taking things that I heard from other coaches in other sports and other athletes and hockey players and basketball players that I can apply to this team.
One of the funny things about the other sports, and we just said this before you hopped on with Cal, was like, all right, you're about to go lead these group of athletes, but you only got a week really of doing it. We alluded to a GM of a hockey team or a leader that has a certain plan, a blueprint that's like, all right, this is who I am. We talked about Lou Lamoriello with the Islanders, right? Like he runs things the way that Lou runs things. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But he's going to do that for 50, 60 years.
Yep.
That's how Lou Lamoriello runs it. Keegan Bradley only has a week. There is no like, you don't get to see how it's going. Like, so are you going in with, I know you said you have no blueprint, but like a way that you think you're gonna kind of start that first day? Or are you just going to see how things kind of organically go? Like, see how the first couple matches go, and then you're going to kind of put the heat up to the guys or whatever.
Right. Well, we've started like I have felt like we needed to start this way earlier than a lot of the other teams had been on. And so like we've started with team stuff like months and months ago. So like we've started the process. And the only sport, I guess this could apply to the hockey too, but the sport that I feel like the only sport that the Ryder Cup can compare to is the U.S. Olympic basketball team. So I think that now hockey's very similar. I think hockey players they're different. They're such team guys, so it's a little different. But I look at the United States men's basketball Olympic team as the only comparable thing in that there's 12 alpha guys on the team. There's no role players. Like we don't have role players on the Ryder Cup team. We don't have, in the similar to the basketball team is this is going to happen quick. Like, and then it's over. And so I've really been looking at Olympic basketball teams and Olympic coaches and sort of what they've done and spoken to a bunch of them and sort of trying to apply that to our team.
Like, do you have access to Krzyzewski? Like, have you talked to him?
I do. I have.
Wow.
Yeah. He's like the great, like, I couldn't imagine playing for him. Like, I couldn't, like, he's like, the best. And he's like, everything he says, like I'm writing stuff down and then he'll say another thing. And I'm like, hold on a second. Wait, let me write that down.
Yeah. You just got to record those phone calls.
He's just like, when you like meet certain people and you get it, like, oh, I get why you were so good at what you did. Like just talking with you for, an hour is like changed my life kind of. So, there's certain guys like that I'm lucky to have spoken to.
You mentioned rookies a little bit earlier, and there is a good chance that there's going to be a decent amount of rookies on this team. What's your philosophy when it comes to certainly captain's picks, rookies versus vets? Like, do you view rookies as a good thing or as a bad thing? I'm very curious on your viewpoint on that.
Well, there's a lot of data that shows that rookies are really good in the Ryder Cup. I mean, I was rookie of Medina and did great. I think it's like when I won my first major that I ever played in. Every tournament I played in that year was a major. Like it was my rookie year. Like playing at Sony Open was like, this is the biggest event ever. And so I get to my first major, the PGA. It's like this is another monster event. And so you go into the Ryder Cup as a rookie, you don't know how terrifying this is going to be. So you're not really ready for, and I think that helps. I mean, there's a lot of rookies that do incredible in their first Ryder Cup. So I'm not scared of having rookies on the team at all.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for not having any expectations. Like, you're right. My rookie year, my first couple of years, it was always like, those are my most rambunctious, exciting, you're just going out there doing the thing that you wanted to do your whole life as a kid. It's so awesome. And I agree. Like, I think sometimes not knowing what you're about to walk into is definitely an advantage. And some guys handle it better than others, but I think legit, like, not having that past experience can be beneficial. But then, when it comes down the stretch, guys who have been there before, usually, they have a knack for settling it down and even being with, a younger guy who might be might be getting a little excited. So it's just such a cool event because you get to see a mix of all that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want we want the big boys out there too. I don't want a team full of rookies. The great part about the Ryder Cup too is the older guys can really help the younger guys, just like a hockey team or any team. So we'll rely on those veteran guys, the whole week.
How deep do you go into analytics in this new version of the game of golf? Like I know in Team Europe and Rome, there was all that talk about they saw every single stat on where the guys are going to drive it on the first hole, and there's all the talk about that first hole and that first drive. Like, how deep for you, for Keegan Bradley, do you really look into the analytics, or are you more of just like a feel old school? Let's just go out there and just beat them with just the type of player that we are.
Well, you have to look at the analytical data, especially for alternate shot, and especially for the captain's picks. The potential pairings. The analytical data is super important. But I think when it comes down to, like, you have to be able to balance that the right way. You can't go 100% in analytics, and you can't go 100% just gut. We are going to have to rely on our vice captains and people that have been through this to help us balance that. But you have to use it because in alternate shot, there's a lot of analytical data for each course on who's going to putt more, who's going to hit the drives more, holes that you need to hit it far, who hits more fairways, they need to hit these odd holes or even holes. So there's a lot of data that goes into that.
So when we talk a lot on this show, like, what's the difference going to be? Is it the best players in the world that make the difference? Is it the camaraderie? And when we talk on this show, there seems to be a perception that for whatever reason, Team Europe has the most camaraderie. And I whether that's true or not, we don't really know. But as a guy, as the Ryder Cup captain this year, and as a guy who has been involved in a bunch of Ryder Cups, do you view that perception as true, or is it overblown, or is it just because normally Team USA has the better players in terms of world rankings, so Team Europe is viewed as the underdog? I'm just curious. Just on the outside, it seems that way, but I don't know if it's necessarily true.
I mean, we've basically traded Ryder Cups for the last, it's pretty close here.
Yeah.
So that there is a perception out there that Europe has won a lot more, and they certainly beat us at Medina, team I was on, which was a bummer. But I've been in a lot of these team rooms. I've never seen a team room as strong as the President's Cup, the one that was on. I was sitting back in my chair one day and just like in awe of, like, this is a real team. Like, this is what I imagine the Celtics to be like, or the Patriots, or the Olympic basketball team, hockey, whatever. Like I was like, wow, this feels like a real team. And I'm looking around at the guys, and they're all like close friends. Like, when you're close enough with somebody to really give them shit, like it's like borderline, like, ooh, that was a little. That's when and that's what these guys are like. Like there isn't like, hey, great shot. It's like, they're giving each other there, but then they know in the moment when, like, hey, we need to go, like, put our arm around this guy. And when you're in these high intensity, intense moments, in locker rooms, there's something brings you together because you're in this together, and like, that everybody in this room is in this, and we're all going to have to play well to win this tournament, and that brings you all together. And these guys are amazing. This is such a different generation than I was started out in, and I'm in such awe of them for just how they can carry themselves and conduct themselves, and they're just great dudes.
Yeah, it's so cool when you get into a locker room and you get that feeling. Like, I've been on teams where your team, but like you don't feel like you can get that job done. You don't feel like that group's like knit. And then you sit in some rooms and you look around and there isn't one guy that you don't trust with your life, and that's such an insanely cool feeling to be a part of a group like that. It's amazing. People who never get the chance to do that, it's a cool feeling.
You said you've been working on the team building thing in the months leading up. Can we get any sort of insight into that, what that looks like, or what's that sort of been going on?
Well, I just think, like, it's important to remind the guys, like, what's coming. So it's really difficult because everyone has their individual goals throughout the year. So, like, we have the British Open coming up. So, like, a lot of guys, we're always taught this is the most important tournament. This is the most important shot. This is the most important week to get ready. So you in golf, especially, I guess in every sport, but in golf especially, you're taught to not look ahead. So, when you're not taught, it's hard to think about the Ryder Cup, especially when you don't know if you're going to be on the team. So you have to balance that sort of whatever that is, to not over give these guys too much, because they want to win the Masters. They want to win the US
Right.
Open. And they're not thinking like, who am I going to play with at the Ryder Cup in 6 months? So it's a balance, but I think it's nice to remind them like what's coming, how special this is, how special Bethpage is, the local community around Bethpage, like what they think of the course. Stories of kids growing up there, sleeping in the car. Like I think that sort of stuff is really important that the players understand.
Love that place. Unbelievable how good that spot is. We got to talk about the Travelers quick. I mean, just this guy just knows how to bring it at that. I mean, when you get your crowd around you, man, you are a fireball of just excitement to watch. It comes right through the TV. We're on the edges of our seats. I mean, just talk me through those last, 3, 4 holes, making that charge. I mean, obviously it was the whole day, but Tommy Fleetwood felt like this was the one that he was going to get, and then all of a sudden Keegan Bradley came freaking shot out of a cannon. That final shot right on the 18th hole to get that birdie. Just talk to me about like what about your round that day like really kept you solid and focused and driven on that comeback, because that's got to be such a good feeling of like, I'm on my way and you guys better watch out.
Yeah, so it was a really strange day in that I didn't play my best the whole day, and I would get to within 1 and then immediately fall back to get 2 back. Like I would get there, or tie the lead, and then I'd go 1 or 2 back. And I on the 14th hole, I hit this like horrible wedge shot, one hopped over the green and plugged in the bunker. And I was over that shot, and I had been leaving that there's a sort of a side hill lie on that wedge coming in. And I'd been leaving that shot out to the right all week, hitting perfect shots, perfect numbers, and hitting it like 15, 20 feet right. And so I was thinking on this shot, like, okay, I need to cover this. Like, we're not going to hit this stupid shot out to the right this time. And I overdid it and pulled it, and it one hopped in the bunker. And I was 3 back at the time. And, realistically thinking like this, we're probably not going to win the tournament. But I reminded myself like these last 4 holes at the Travelers are like really volatile. You're used to seeing birdies at Travelers, but to me, some of the hardest shots I hit all year on tour on the backside of Travelers. I think that the 13th tee shot out of the par 5 is my least favorite shot on the tour. So I knew that there's a lot of volatility, and I hit a horrible tee shot on 15. It hit really not a very good bunker shot, and it cleared the lip of the green by like a couple inches and rolled down to the middle of the green instead of hitting the edge and going down. All of a sudden, that doesn't hit the green. It might come in like 8th. You know what I mean? Like close. And I was thinking on the putt, like, all right, well, if you're gonna give this a tournament a run, you have to make this putt. And it went in, and from there on, I didn't miss a shot coming in. And I got to 18 and I had 142 flag, and I wanted to play at 146, 147, and this with a 9-iron, I have a swing. I go ear to ear, and it goes 146, and I've hit this shot at home, I don't know, 10,000 times. I have 3 swings that I make shoulder, ear to ear, and a 95 swing, which is like a 95% or 90%. And I practice these over and over and over. And I hit this, one of my favorite shots is ear to ear with a 9-iron, 146. And I had it. And it's just like anything. I hit the shot, and as soon as you hit it, it's like perfect. And, it was really cool moment. I to be honest with you, I know I'm supposed to be this like macho, competitor, and I really did feel for Tommy. Like I really did. Like in the days following, it's been a weird feeling because I did really feel for him. I felt a little bit bad about when I looked back and how crazy I went, because like this stupid game that we play, you're always trying to hold that back, your emotions. And like that whole day, playing every day in my life now, where every hole they're chanting USA and they're calling me captain. I'm like ready to jump at them in this game. Then I make that putt, and I just like I blacked out. I don't even remember. And it's been weird. Like I really did feel for him, and I know that's not really like what I'm supposed to say, but I did. And this has been such a weird thing, because when you win a tournament, it doesn't normally happen like that. Like that I didn't lead the tournament until no one was playing, and obviously thrilled to win, but I did feel for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone that watched it definitely had that same feeling. Not that everyone was so excited for you to win. Obviously, Team USA, the whole deal. We've got so much hype going towards that Ryder Cup. But for Tommy Fleetwood, 42 top 10, 0 wins. That's the storyline. He's holding on the lead. It's Tommy Fleetwood's time, and for him to kind of fumble it towards the end. And don't get me wrong, like, you come in there with a birdie on 16 and 18, you won it though, right? Like, you didn't just get it handed to you. You went out and got it.
Yeah, we did, and I just can't tell you what a good guy Tommy is.
He's the best. He's our
Dude.
we love you. I think Tommy's our favorite person.
Yeah, like, he's just like he's just like the best dude. Like, and but I had this happen one other time at Akron. I was playing with Jim Furyk actually, and he had a 1-shot lead going down 18 on me, and I never led the tournament, and I hit this shot into 18. I plugged it in the bunker and like wedged it out to 15 feet. And Jim hit it to the right and like hit it in the bunker and got it out. I get up there, I make this 15-footer for par, and he's got all of a sudden now he's got like 6 feet for bogey to force the playoff, and he missed it. And same sort of thing. Hadn't led the tournament until the tournament was done. Like, it was exactly the same thing, and it's just It's just this game of golf is so strange.
You're just a grim reaper. Like Keegan walks around the corner like, God damn. What was your vantage point of his club change there? Because I know that's gotten a lot of talk of. He kind of walked. He stepped off the 9, was it? And he went to the pitch. And
yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to what he was doing. I didn't even know he changed clubs. It was the wind was really swirling. That pin, it is tough. Like that hole's completely different with that pin, and the wind was in. Normally that's a pretty good birdie hole, but with that pin in that bunker, that front right bunker normally plugs, so you're very aware, and then it runs off to the left. So it was a tough shot. I wasn't really aware. I didn't really know he changed clubs till after.
And then the putt, like it goes right behind your ball. So are you thinking like, no way, like we're gonna get a perfect look at this thing?
Yeah. The weird thing is like I don't really love to see putts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
I don't know, because you don't know. Like, it turns out Tommy's ball looked like it hit something.
Yeah, it did.
But like we couldn't tell that. I can't tell that, and so I don't like seeing it, because I feel like it can change what you're going to do. You don't know how he hit the putt. You don't know if it hit something. You don't know if, he hit it off the heel or the toe, and his putt looked like it broke a ton. Like it like snapped across the hole. It looked to me like he hit a great putt. And I got in there with feet. I kept feeling a 1/2 degree on my feet. And Tommy's putt looked like it broke at least a 1 degree or maybe 1.5. So I'm over going, this does not feel like it's going to break like Tommy's did. And so I kept feeling in my feet a 1/2 degree, in it. So it's those cliches of like, all right, but dude, you got to like trust this and live with this if this doesn't break. Because I played mine inside left, and his just snapped across the hole. And then, afterwards you look at it, it hit something and bounced. So I had to really trust that. It's so weird when you get in those situations, like you're not as nervous as you think you're going to be. And I felt really good, and I went through my process and made it.
You tweeted out some Noah Kahn lyrics afterwards, and we've gotten to know him a good amount. We play golf with him, been to a couple concerts. What's your relationship with him? Obviously, a couple of New England guys. Have you spent time with him and all that?
I have. So he grew up in Vermont, but like really close to where I grew up. And I find only people that grew up in Vermont can understand like how ridiculous it is for him to be where he is, and similar to me. Like, so there, I've told him this, but there's not another human being in the world that can appreciate what he's done to get to where he is than me. Like, we grew up in growing up in Vermont, you don't do stuff like this. And I have this such sense of being so proud of this guy, because like he's like one of the biggest artists in the world, and he grew up. I know exactly where he grew up. Like, his grandparents lived in the same town that my wife grew up in, with like dirt roads, no stoplights, and like forget it. And so I'm just like, so I've had this sense of like pride watching him do what he does, because of where we grew up. And Noah Kahn, I mean, as you guys know, is exactly how you think he is.
Yep.
He's everything you see on where he, on TV or on social media, like that's him. He's just the best.
And he's singing about like it'd be one thing to be from where you guys are from, and not make the music about it, but he makes everything about where you guys are from. And for whatever reason, people feel it. And he's one of the biggest music artists in the world.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm listening to his songs, like I get like creeped out. Like, is he singing this? Is this like AI? Like, is this like I remember I sent one of the songs to my mom, and she thought that somebody made this for me. I'm like, no, this is Noah Kahn. This is like what was up for a Grammy. It is strange because I hear the songs and like he's got this one song where he says that, it's something about goes home and calls his friends, but they only want to talk to him about being on tour, and it's like PGA Tour. It's like, Jesus, dude, this is exactly like it's mastered the song. It's so perfect.
Real quick, you talked about not wanting to see the putt with Tommy Fleetwood, and that guy. We have a debate, like a hypothetical on what would be if I took Tommy Fleetwood and Keegan Bradley, and you guys played a 2-man scramble, or I offered you for Keegan Bradley to hit a 1-man 2-ball scramble. You got to take 2 balls. Which do you think that you would prefer? Would you rather the 2 pros or you to get 2 shots at it?
I'd rather 2 pros.
Really?
For sure. Yeah, and it's funny because I've been wanting to do this with some of the guys. Like when we're home, I want to go like out with 2-man scramble, 2v2 scramble, and see what that like with 2 pros, like proper like PGA Tour pros, and see because it'd be awesome match. But I'd rather another guy so you could see different shots or see what they're thinking.
So you not getting another shot at it, like you missed it low. Now you don't think that because each guy's getting only 1 shot. That's been I've been on the side of give me Scotty Scheffler with 2 swings over a Scotty and Rory all day.
That's
You know what I mean?
That's true. There's definitely an argument for both. I would like 2 swings from Scotty too. I don't think I'd want to play Scotty, but with him hitting 2 shots, but against anyone in the world.
That's so good. So what are the plans now from now until Bethpage? Do you have anything big planned out? I don't know if you can give us anything.
Yeah, I mean we're working every day. Like every day we're working. Talking to the vice captains, talking to PGA of America. The job of the captains is to put the team in the best position to win, just like any other coach or any other manager. Like I don't want to be the story. I want them to be the story. I want to put these guys in a position where they feel like they can best succeed. And sometimes that's harder than others. Like sometimes you have this pairing or this scenario that you think is perfect, and you get out there and it's like, okay, this isn't working. So what do we do? And how do we make sure that this doesn't affect XYZ pairing? This doesn't affect this session. This doesn't affect this player going into singles. So it's a long process. And luckily, like Jim Furyk is just such a remarkable guy. Like he just, I look at his career. I looked up his career the other day. He's at 188 top 10s.
Insane.
Like it's be incredible to play in 188 PGA Tour events. Like
right.
This he has such perspective of being the captain in Paris, being the winning captain in President's Cup, playing on 20 team events, and then I got guys like Tiger that I can rely on. That he's been absolutely incredible, like absolutely incredible to me. And we're lucky to have this network of guys that can help us, get better, figure out the best way to win. What do you think of this scenario? What happened when you were in Paris and this happened? And then how is that different than Montreal, the President's Cup? And so there's a great give and take there.
You're an emotional guy. Are you gonna struggle with the calls? Because you've been on the other side of it. That's gonna be tough, right?
Yeah, I think about it all the time. I don't want. I've been on like a million of these calls, so I know exactly how I'll do it. I know how I would want it to be done. I'm not looking for a whole fluff thing. Like when I get it, like that the simple fact of this: if you're not in the top 6, you can't expect to be on the team. And when I wasn't in the top 6 for Zach at Rome, I totally understood not getting picked. Like you cannot expect to be on the team if you don't finish in the top 6, even if you're 7th. Like you don't know. Maybe you have an injury. Maybe I don't know. So when you get the call that you're not on the team and you're not in that top 6, I wasn't like really mad at Zach. I got it. Like he's got analytical data. He's got he's trying to make the team better. He's not picking me because he thinks it's going to make the team worse. Like he's trying to do what's best for the team. And so when you get that call, you know that.
You're gonna give Zach a call, just be like, you're not on the team. Just like just give him a call and be like, you're not on the team, dude.
I feel terrible for Zach that what he went through, because he was a good he was a great captain to these guys. He's one of the guys that we all looked up to, and I hope that this process is so brutal, and I hope that someday he can get some peace from this. I love Zach. I know what he did was he tried to do his best that he could, and that's sometimes you go in sport, like sports are brutal. Like you this dream, and like, it doesn't mean it's gonna work out. Like you sports are the most unfair. This is what I've been saying. This has been my new line. The golf ball doesn't care that I went to school at St. John's at Bethpage. They don't care that I'm the playing captain. The golf ball doesn't give, especially the other team. So Zach goes up against Luke Donald. Like, they're both want to win. I go up against Luke Donald. We're friends. We both want to win. Like, we get that.
Do you have any guys lined up to give motivational speeches? Because some guys. You've got some connections. You're in the sports world. You got anybody lined up?
We got some guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we got some guys. We got some pretty heavy hitters. The thing about the Ryder Cup is, and that would be similar to the Olympic hockey team or basketball team, you don't need much motivation here.
Sure.
Like, you have to walk this line of like not going too far, because you're so amped up. So you have to be there isn't going to be a guy that comes in and says something to you that's going to make you play harder. That's just going to be most of the time. The best things that are said are from the other guys on the team that get up and say something, or the other vice captains. You can get whoever it is to get up there and tell you how important this is, how special this is. Doesn't really matter. Like, you're going to be that Thursday night before the matches, after the opening ceremonies, is when things start to get real, and you get in the locker, or you get into the team room, and it's like dead quiet. You don't need much from there on out. If anything, you need the opposite. So, but we have guys, and we're gonna be ready to go.
Love it.
Well, Keegan, man, listen, we're just like you're proud of Noah Khan. I'm sure he's very proud of you, because what you've been able to accomplish from Vermont is incredible. Your story, it always blows us away, and how you're able to just keep adding to it. As you're getting older, you still keep notching on all these different accolades and all these different accomplishments, and Ryder Cup captain, possible playing captain. Like, this is incredible to watch, man. And every time we talk to you, it seems like you got something amazing going on. So good for you, and we're proud of you, and we cannot wait for Bethpage, dude. We are so jacked up. We know you're going to do a great job. I'm nervous for you, as a fan. I'm a fan.
I'm nervous too.
Like, we're fans, right? I'm a huge Islander fan. I got Cal Clutterbuck on here. A guy played for like 12 years for my team. I was nervous for him every single night. Like, we're gonna be wearing the red, white, and blue. We're gonna be going nuts. But once those balls are in the air, we're gonna be nervous as shit, dude. So
yeah, I mean, everybody is. This for the Ryder Cup is just so incredible, and this Ryder Cup especially is going to be like what I think is one of the greatest sporting events like ever in the world. Definitely in America.
100%, dude.
Yep.
So yeah, just thanks for the time. It's great to hear from the captain, especially for our listeners and everything. We're all so jacked up, and best of luck leading up, and hopefully we speak to you right before and just get your final thoughts, and let's go fucking win this thing, man.
Go USA, man.
Thank you.
Rose Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for stronger, harder erections. They hit the bloodstream faster because they dissolve under the tongue. Getting hard faster means having more sex. Everybody wants to have more sex. That's a great thing. After they dissolve, they work at 15 minutes on average. Rose Sparks can give guys thicker, longer erections than you usually have because they get fuller. Rose Sparks give you the boost to last longer, so it's more fun for you both. Everybody wants to have more fun, including your partner. Rose stays active in your system up to 36 hours. You could go back to back to back, round after round. Be ready the morning after. Be ready for play with Rose Sparks. With Rose Sparks, you could get the erection you've always wanted. Rose connects guys with medical provider 100% online. There's no awkward conversations with in-person providers. If approved, treatment ships directly to their door. Connect with a provider at ro.co/foreplay to find out if the prescription Rose Sparks are right for you. That is ro.co/foreplay for $15 off your first order. ro.co/foreplay. A lot of people, myself included, probably everyone on this show, aren't aware of how much money they spend each month Do you know how many subscriptions you pay for? What about how much you spend on, let's say, takeout or delivery or ride share? It's probably more than you think. It's definitely more than you think, but there's an app designed to help you manage your money better. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. This app is phenomenal, gentlemen. Just phenomenal.
I'll tell you what, I am aware of how much I spend because I check this app all the time. I check it at least once or twice a day. You hook all your accounts up to it. You also hook your credit score up to it. It's your entire financial picture all in one single app. And it's just good to know, like you talked about, Riggs, with, when you're ordering food or you're taking Ubers, you're doing whatever you're doing, you just think about the time when you're doing it, but you don't think about how many times you've done it throughout the month. And it really does add up. So having that wherewithal, having that knowledge can maybe stop you, like, all right, maybe I'll walk, or maybe I'll cook tonight, or maybe I'll do this. And it really does help you see your whole financial picture. And it has really benefited me in a big way.
Rocket Money's 5 million members have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, with members saving up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features, which is what I do. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Fore today. That is rocketmoney.com/FORE. Rocketmoney.com/Fore. All right, folks, we have a very special guest. She is a dream expert. She's been all over the place. I was watching a few YouTube videos. I've had a lot of discussions on this show about dreams. We had our guy Ikaku from Hawaii who reached out to us last week with a voicemail about a dream that really kind of resonated with a bunch of golf folks in the world. So we figured we'd have her on, but it's Lauri Loewenberg. You are a dream expert. Welcome to the show for the first time.
Thank you so much for having me.
I got to start with, getting a little bit of background on how you got into the field of dreams. What fascinates you so much about dreams?
Well, it's like you're entering a completely different life when you dream. And I've been interested in my dreams since I was 2. So my whole life I've been a very vivid dreamer. But it was after my grandfather died when I had a dream about 2 weeks after his death that we were walking arm in arm through a museum. And I knew he had died. And so I asked him what it was like where he's at. And he said, I can't tell you that, but what I can tell you is that it is secure. Then he gave me a hug and he started walking up the stairs and I began to wake up. And I was like, that is such an interesting thing to say, secure. And I could still smell his old spice. It was so real. So long story short, that's the dream that propelled me to study dream psychology because I wanted to know what is the purpose? Why do we do it? And what I learned is that dreams are very practical when you learn to understand their symbols, their metaphors for your life, and that you're basically problem solving while you're dreaming, which is why when you are dealing with an issue, a dilemma in real life, we say, well, let me sleep on it because we tend to wake up with clarity. We wake up with clarity because we dreamed on it.
Interesting. Have you always been able to recall your dreams in pretty strong detail? Because for me, for a 2-year-old, to remember dreams and then have that memory from when you were young with your grandfather, it's like I feel like a lot of people, myself included, I wake up and I remember tiny bits and pieces from dreams, but I don't remember a lot of vivid detail.
Right. So the first thing you have to remember is that you do dream every single night. It is a natural, necessary function of the brain. You enter REM dream sleep every 90 minutes throughout the night. Each cycle of dreaming is longer than the previous. So your first dream is like 5 minutes long, and then your next cycle of REM will be a little longer, and then that last dream you have before you wake up in the morning can be 45 minutes to an hour long. And the way to remember them, and it is easier for some than others, but the best way to remember them is when you wake up, don't move. Stay in the exact same position you woke up in because that's the position you were in when you were dreaming. So give yourself like 3 to 5 minutes of quiet, still time. Just lay there, keep your eyes closed. Don't think about anything and let the dream come back to you. And then the more you do this, like a muscle, the stronger it will get and you'll start remembering more and more of your dreams every morning.
Okay. Interesting. I got to write that down.
Sorry, I was sleeping late. That was a little joke with the dreams.
We got it.
Very happy to be here.
By the way, Dreams are basically short-term memories. So if you don't capture them right away, within 90 seconds of waking, it will be gone.
Okay. See, that's pretty much what happens to me. And I find, do you feel like people all have a different kind of capacity for how much they remember dreams, or do you think that everyone's sort of capable of, like you're saying, if you exercise certain practices, you'll remember X percentage of your
Yeah.
dreams?
So I do believe everyone's capable of better dream recall. However, some are natural at it. Usually right-brained people, artists, writers, musicians, very introspective people tend to remember their dreams a little easier than, say, your investment banker. So the more right-brained, the easier it is. But that's not to say that the left-brain folks can't improve their skills as well.
Okay. Very interesting. So now that we've kind of laid the groundwork, everybody dreams, like you said. So it's such an interesting conversation because every single human listening, I think, immediately sort of, if they're tuning out a little bit during the show, they tune in because like, okay, she's describing things that happen to me every single night. We had a caller call in, and Brendan, I don't know if you want to play the call, or if we just want to kind of discuss amongst ourselves and describe to you the scenario. But essentially, we have talked about for years on this show, we're all golfers. We do a golf podcast, but we all sort of have a recurring dream that is eerily similar. And we had a caller call in and say, hey, I've got this dream going on. I've had this dream going on for years. Do you guys have something similar? And if so, what do you think it means? And the essence of that dream is, for me, it's and we're not good players. We don't play professional golf. We stink, but we end up in environments where, we play golf. Something matters to you. It's a big event with your buddies, or maybe you belong to a club and you're playing in a championship up there, whatever it might be. And so I have this version of this dream where I'm playing in the Masters tournament, which is the biggest event in golf. I'm standing on the first tee. It's my turn to play. And something always interrupts me, and I'm never able to actually enter the field of play. I never tee off. I never actually get to the point where I strike the golf ball. A wind gust comes up and knocks my ball off the tee. I'm like, sorry, everybody, 1 second. And then I go to take a backswing, and there's like a tee marker, that's signage that my club hits. So I have to move my ball and can't hit it again. And then when I'm ready to hit, there's a crowd of people that crosses the fairway, and the starter's like, no, you can't tee off yet. I'm like, okay, no worries. And then eventually I wake up and I never got to hit that ball. And then, Brendan, I don't know if you want to play now that clip to kind of showcase how our Hawaiian friend has a very similar dream, but trying to get to the kind of the bottom of the meaning of what this could be. So here's our friend's call here.
Hey, how's it, brothers? This is Ikaika from Haleiwa, Hawaii. Huge fucking fan of the program. Hey, I got one question for you. Have you guys ever had one dream where you're like in a living room or some enclosed space and you're trying to hit a golf ball out into the open? You have all these people watching. But whenever you try to swing, you don't get enough room. So you re-tee the ball to like a different area. But every time you try to take the club back, you don't get enough room. So you're just picking up the tee and re-teeing, going from place to place, trying to find one place where you can just swing and smash the golf ball. But every time you just don't have enough room, and this happens over and over until you wake up. I have this dream every once in a while. I think a lot of people have the same kind of dream. Wondering if you guys ever had this.
That's sort of where we're at.
Yeah, and I think we've all had it. I think Frankie's had it. Riggs described his really well. I've had it as well. And I guess, yeah, that was really what spawned this whole idea of bringing you on, because we're just wondering if that has any meaning and what it could mean potentially.
Yes, well, absolutely it has meaning. Now, most of the time, dreams will use things in our life as metaphors to give us a message about something else. So the golf dream and the different issues within the golf dream that you may experience might actually be a metaphor for something else. Now, Riggs, you were saying you can't tee off. And then the caller was saying he doesn't have enough room. He kept saying, I don't have enough room. So let's start with his dream. This would likely be reflective of some other area of his life where he doesn't feel he has enough room. Something is making his life feel crowded. It could be an interpersonal relationship. It could be something at work. It could be a side hustle, something where he doesn't have enough room to get things going. And Riggs, you can never tee off. So this could be about not being able to get something started. It could be anything from a conversation you need to have or some project or something else you just can never seem to get started. So does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I feel naked right now. I mean, when
you like to give us the juicy details?
I don't know what we signed up for here, by the way. I mean, this is going to turn into an absolute, expose on every single one of our dreams and our insecurities. And
I'm sorry.
it's great.
It's incredible.
It is
right?
great. It is incredible. I think we all thought the answer was going to be, and we always just assume we know the right answer to everything, where it was Riggs has problems with his drives. He's had that for a couple of years where it's just like he's off the planet. He can't hit it in the right spot. But instead, it sounds like it's something deeper that's going on with our guy Riggs Barstool.
Dreams are always deeper. Your dreams, this is my tagline. Dreams are messages from you to you about you in order to improve you. And they will use metaphors to, we speak in metaphor. We naturally speak in metaphor. I could tell you I'm hungry, or I could tell you I'm so hungry I could eat a horse, because that lets you know, okay, she's really hungry. I need to do something about it. Dreams work the same way. They speak in metaphor to get the point across. And so if golf is a big part of your life and is something you do to relax, or it's just a way of thinking for you, a way of processing things, your dreams will. And you do golf to process, right? It's not just about the game.
Right.
About, yeah.
I mean,
thinking.
It's funny because as you described that, I think Trent's right. We all went in thinking you're going to have close to a uniform answer for why we all have the same dream. And the actual uniform answer is the only reason we're all having a similar dream is because we're all obsessed with golf. And so golf is metaphorically the way through which we think about stuff. Yeah. I feel for our guy Ikaku here, who's just called into the show. I was like, I'll get a funny answer. And he's probably sitting there listening to that being like, well, Jesus Christ, I'm proud of him.
Frankie, you want to give any specifics on your dreams?
Well, yeah, the thing that I find interesting that there's definitely a similarity regardless of what the subject is, based off of not being able to get something done. So whether that's just a very common issue in human nature that we all end up subconsciously thinking about in our sleep. Like when I was a waiter at a restaurant, that's a very, very common recurring dream where you're slammed, you're in one section and you can't get to all the tables. And I would have that every single night. Like you'd go back and the chefs didn't get the ticket and you're like, what are you talking about? And like, they didn't get their drinks and it's constantly going back and forth. I always thought that was just the stress of the night kind of bleeding into your sleep. Your brain's still on. And it's like that chaos that had occurred each night of just that environment would always carry on, which I'm sure, I guess, bleeds into the other issues that you're saying that, kind of allude to the golf ones as well.
Yes. So what you want to do to figure out these dreams, this is my go-to when I'm working with a client and we're having a tough time. My go-to is, okay, at this moment in the dream, what are you thinking to yourself in the dream? Because your dream thought will be very, very revealing and it will relate. It will make sense somewhere in your real life. So, Frankie, you were saying in your waiter dream, you're having a back and forth with the cook and you're saying, what was it? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like you thought that you had given him, the ticket with all the food, right?
Yeah.
And you put it up there. You can almost physically remember putting it up there. And then you go back to the table and you go back and he's like, you never gave it to me. It's almost like you're just stunned. Like nothing was getting done. Like no matter what you do, nothing was getting done by anyone, right? Like it felt like you were doing all this work and you went, there's been no result.
Okay. So that, nothing is getting done. So that thought will relate to something in real life. What are you putting a lot of work in and not getting any return on? Could be a relationship, could be something else.
Right, yeah. That's just hilarious. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, we'll definitely talk about all this. It's unbelievable. I know it's so like so how yeah, I mean, is there do you have a strategy, or I guess I don't know what the word is, being able to pay attention more in dreams, right? Because I feel like you're very specific about like remembering the things that you said and the moments that you were in. I feel like that's very difficult for people to be able to, I guess, like they call it lucid dreaming or be a little bit more conscious in dreaming. Do you have any sort of, do you have any sort of talking points on like how people can get better at that?
Yes. Well, first of all, the more you start to work on remembering your dreams, doing that little exercise in the morning where you just don't move, it kind of feeds itself. So the more you begin to remember your dreams in the morning, the more detail in time, the more detail you'll start remembering, the more, conversations in the dreams you'll start remembering. That just gets stronger and stronger. But as far as lucid dreaming, where you're in the dream and then have the realization, the awareness that it's a dream. Now that is a whole nother animal and it is amazing. Have you ever had that experience where you're in the dream and you know you're dreaming?
I personally have not.
I've had that experience a couple times. A lot of times what I have is the experience of being on the edge of if you're dreaming or not, getting to the point where I feel like in the dream I'm testing myself and then convince myself, nope, you're not dreaming. And then I pretty much wake up after that.
Oh, okay. So next time that happens, I want you to stay in the dream. Because lucid dreaming is better than sex.
How do I stay in the dream?
So the way to stay in the dream, if you get the awareness that it's a dream, and a lot of people get the awareness, they become lucid within a nightmare because it's so scary. They use the awareness that it's a dream to wake up and get out of it. And that's actually the worst thing to do. You want to stay in the dream. So the way to stay in the dream is to look at your hand or find a focal point and anchor yourself to it. And that'll kind of keep you in that dream state. When you are lucid and you realize it's a dream, what's going on is that you are in both worlds at the exact same time. You're awake and you're also asleep. So your consciousness and your subconscious are working at equal levels. And you can have a conversation with your subconscious in the dream. And so you want to ask a question. So if you become lucid within a nightmare, and maybe someone's got a gun to your head and they're about to pull the trigger, say, wait, what do you represent in real life? Or what do I need to know? And your dream will answer you.
Wow.
Yes. It's wild.
Are you a consistent lucid dreamer?
I become lucid about once a month. And it's usually, most lucid dreams happen in the morning. The last dream you have before you wake up. That's when you are most likely to become lucid. There's also a little trick you can do. On a weekend when you have time to sleep in, set your alarm for about 20 minutes earlier than you normally get up. So if it's usually set at 6:30, set it for 6:10. And then hit the snooze. And then you have this window of time where you can drift back into sleep. But you don't have enough time to drift deep into delta. You're going to stay in the lighter stages. And you're more likely to be able to hold on to your consciousness once you kind of slip into REM in that little window. And then you can be aware, oh, I'm dreaming. What do I want to do? And you can do anything. So there's no rules.
Wow.
Yeah, that's freaking nuts.
I know.
Okay. This episode is brought to you by Brex. Every company is looking to get more from their dollars these days. Meet Brex, the modern finance platform that helps companies do just that with a corporate card, banking, expenses, and travel all in one place, all in one very simple place. Brex ensures that the best companies, from the fastest growing AI startups to global enterprises, can spend smarter and more faster and move faster. This has earned them the trust of 30,000 companies, including us right here at Barstool Sports. We are proud Brex users. I'm a proud Brex user. We talk about all the different features, which I just explained, but the biggest one for us, we're on the road nonstop. We take 80, 100 flights a year. Meals, expenses are just huge, and Brex has saved us, I don't know, dozens of hours in how simple their expense platform is.
I just had money put into my account yesterday from the expenses that I put in. And it's really easy. Auto fills the receipts, take a picture, does pretty much everything for you. You got to add a couple of things and you're on to the next thing. And it does, when that money re-enters your account, it feels really good. You just made money. I mean, you were traveling. If you travel for work and they pay for your travel, you can just use the Brex app and it puts it right back in. So it really is a game changer for guys like us.
Yeah, it's seamless. And the other stuff is just so daunting and it's so just you don't want to do it and you end up not doing it. So this saves the employee some money as well. There was definitely times where I just ate it and I didn't want to have to do my reports, and it was just
Yep.
it was a nightmare. And now I it's so simple. I don't miss a thing.
It's phenomenal. It's seamless. It's been a great, great change, a true like difference from the competitor that we're using, a very noticeable difference. So you can learn more at brex.com/grow. That is BREX.com/grow.
I have a question. What is there? What's about? Like my sister-in-law told us a story the other day that she had a baby that just turned a year old. She had a dream that her grandfather, who has passed away, was like on the camera looking over baby, right? And it was like the most
Oh,
like
yeah.
vivid dream that she and he'd never come like the idea of when you hear people saying like a relative that has passed on came through a dream. To me, that's not like a stress of the real world, right? Maybe it is because you like miss the person, but like actually seeing their face,
Mhm.
seeing their body. It's happened to me too. My pop-up run the restaurant, like you actually see him, you can actually talk to him. What do you say about that?
Right. So that's the sort of dream, I don't think you were here at this point, that propelled me to study dream psychology. It was a dream about my
Wow.
grandfather that passed. So the thing about when you dream of a loved one that has died, most of the time it's symbolic. They're going to represent some part of yourself, some quality you share. They could represent a time frame that's of importance currently. But I do believe, of course, it's a belief that those that have passed on can communicate while we're in the dream state. If you look at it scientifically, it can make sense because when we dream, our brain waves are working at a particular frequency. Through each stage of dreaming, our brain waves slow down in frequency with each stage. When you reach REM dream sleep, it's almost like your brainwave pattern is at the perfect frequency where you can tune in like a radio to the collective unconscious, to all that, the energy that's out there. And science tells us everything gives off energy and energy travels in waves. So if consciousness exists after bodily death, your consciousness is traveling in waves. And so REM dream sleep may be the perfect frequency where we can tune in and receive communication.
Wow.
Huh.
Wow.
Wow.
Actually, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you think part of that or part of a dream state would make sense that you would be like, I think all the time my dream state is smarter than my real state because I
Yeah.
can't believe
Yes.
in my dreams like the things that the people in my dreams are saying and the words that they're using and the memories that they're recalling and the facts that they're recalling are coming from my brain. It's my dream.
Yes.
How so I have to know these things, but I don't know these things. Like when I wake up, I
Right.
don't know the things that they're saying. So I'm like, how come Dream Me just able to access every memory or more memories or something than real me can actually
Yes.
access?
Yes, everything you
Okay.
said is yes. So, it is the subconscious mind at work when you're dreaming, which is the other side of your conscious mind. So it's like the other side of you. And
Yeah.
so look at your subconscious as this huge warehouse which stores everything you have ever experienced from the moment you were born. Anything you've ever smelled, anything you've ever heard, anything you've ever tasted, any conversation you've ever had, anyone you've ever seen, every experience remains there. And when you're dreaming and the subconscious mind rises to the surface and takes over, it will access things and present them to you to give you a message about what you need to know right now. That's why we will sometimes dream of things from the past that we totally forgot about. 10, 20, 30 years ago, we'll dream of someone we haven't even thought of since then. They'll show up in our dream because your subconscious remembers, and it's saying, remember this person? There's something going on right now in your life where this person is going to make sense to you. For example, there's this kid from the 3rd grade that sometimes pops up into my dreams. His name is Jeff. I haven't seen him since 3rd grade. I never had a conversation with him. But what stood out to me, was that he was the shyest person I have ever known in my life. He always kept his head down. He would never raise his hand. I've never heard his voice. So when I'm in a moment in my current life where I'm not speaking up, where I'm not being bold, I'll dream of him. because my brain
Wow.
is telling me, you're being Jeff. Speak up.
Interesting.
Wow. Do you write down things like in that 10, 15 minutes after you wake up? Do you write down things from your dream that you remember or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been keeping a dream journal since early teens. And if I don't write it down, I'll lay there and make sure I capture it and then assault my husband with it over coffee.
I'm sure. Wow.
I
This is
have-
all
I have
very,
a-
very interesting.
It is very interesting. I have a dumb question. With somebody with your credentials, what do you think of a movie like Inception? Is there anything real to that? I mean, obviously it's a crazy movie, but
Yeah.
it seems right up your alley.
Yes. So it's interesting how Inception was in layers, and how they would use lucid dreaming to work through the movie. So there's also, speaking of that, have you heard of remote viewing?
No.
Okay, so it's this thing, and apparently governments do this, where they get people who have ESP abilities, where they can use their ESP abilities to spy on other countries or other situations. So there's something similar in dreaming where, shoot, what is the name? It's escaping me. Where you can sort of dream together and kind of get into someone else's dream, get into each other's dreams. Where, say, Trent, you and I decide, okay, let's meet in Paris tonight in our dreams. And so
Yeah.
we'll both focus on it as we're going to sleep and train ourselves to dream about Paris. And so then we'll meet in the dream and have a conversation. But sometimes it'll show up a little different. Like I may dream I meet you at the Eiffel Tower and I see you in a red sports car. And then you dream we met at the Eiffel Tower, but you see me wearing a red dress. So
Got
there'll
it.
be some slightly different symbolism.
Wow.
That's something that people can do as well. But it's, very laser focused and specific, and it's not common, but it can happen. It happens. People do this.
Very interesting.
Two people have always wanted to like hook up, but they can't. They're gonna meet up in
Yeah.
dreams. It's like meet you at the coffee shop. What a workaround that would be.
Right.
You said attack your husband. Did I read on ChatGPT that you're a black belt?
I am, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, thank you.
You're an,
I'm rusty,
you're an
but
inter-
yes, I hold a black belt.
That's unbelievable.
you're an interesting person. You have a very, very interesting life. Studying dreams, black belt. That's
I'm
incredible.
also a
It's a lot of
pinup
stuff.
artist.
A pinup artist, Lauri. I mean, come on.
Amazing.
Incredible.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's just these are all
That-
things that like we didn't even know existed. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like studying dreams. Like your whole life is filled with things that like are just very interesting. It's like and I'm sure the stories that you hear and the people that you talk to and all of the the people that tell their story, it's got to be just so like entertaining to you to hear other people's dreams and where they go
Well,
at night.
you know what's funny about that is that I will find myself dreaming other people's dreams.
Wow.
So when, I work with a client with their dream, and then that night, sometimes elements of their dream will show up in mine.
Wow.
You ever think about the that like this whole world is a simulation? Has that ever come across your desk? And like
Lately.
these dreams are just
Lately.
like us kind of going into another file, and you know what I mean? Like it's just like our brains are on overload, and we're accessing different parts of our other worlds, our other beings. That's sometimes in that state when I wake up, I sometimes think about like, is there a billion Frankies, a trillion, infinite amount of Frankies, and my brain kind of goes into one of their brains, every so often, right? Like
Yeah.
if I'm playing in the Masters, that's like my brain in that universe. And like that to me almost like makes a little bit of sense, if that sounds crazy to you guys. I mean, like nothing really makes sense, right? We have all of our own beliefs, which I do to allude to like the grandparents and stuff. I do fall closer to what you said. I do believe in all that. I do that kind of makes sense to me because we do have consciousness. It's an unbelievable thing that humans have consciousness. Really no explanation for that. The fact that we have feelings and thoughts and we have dreams and all these things. So why would that just go away afterwards? So I do think the fact that we can kind of mesh together afterwards, really that kind of like hit me like a ton of bricks when you said that. But there's also a part of me that's also like, well, if I can reserve myself to thinking about that, I also can kind of keep myself open to this other belief of like, if there is an infinite amount of these things going on, it would make sense that like you would tap in to, these other lives and like, whoa, like look what I'm doing in this one.
Yeah, the multiverse, I think is what they call
Yeah.
it. Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's possible that, in all these movies that address like the different timelines.
Mhm.
What is the one with Loki? It's a TV show now. The
I
character.
think it's
Yeah.
called Loki.
I think it's just called Loki.
Oh, okay. So my friend Tara does the voice of the Watch, the clock cartoon.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
No way. That's incredible.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's in a lot of science fiction, perhaps based on fact that we just haven't realized yet.
I know, yeah. I mean, it's definitely like far out there, but it's just funny. It's like you go to sleep and then you're in this what feels like real scenario. So like to try and make sense of that as like a rational thinking person, like you may think of the most irrational explanation as to why you feel like you're walking on grass and you can touch a water bottle and you can hit a golf club. It's like, well, maybe we are tapping into these like other beings of ourselves. Like that sounds insane, but it's also insane to think that when I'm laying in bed, I'm like hitting at the Masters, right? Like that's also an outrageous like explanation of life, and we all just accept it as just normal. Like, oh, I'm gonna go fly amongst the clouds as Superman, and then I'm gonna wake up and I'm just gonna like resort it as a dream. Like, no, maybe I am Superman in some ridiculous other realm. You know what I mean? Like, why is that crazy?
Yeah, you just don't know, and maybe we are in the Matrix and we're really in like glass jars. Just meat floating in a glass jar.
I said that we didn't know what we had signed up for. You don't know what you signed up for.
I was gonna
by
say,
talking to-
it took
I'll
a little
keep you
bit
here for hours.
It took a little bit to get Frankie going, and then as soon as we got there, I was like, Frankie is now going off a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's an interesting conversation for sure.
Have you ever, had somebody start telling you about a dream and you be like, I think I got to call the police?
Well, there was. I'm going to try to remember this to the best of my ability. This was many years ago, but there was this woman who kept bothering me through my website and my social medias. I had to keep blocking her because she was having these dreams. She was telling me where she's actually Justin Timberlake's muse, and that all his songs he's written are really because of her. And
Oh, boy.
it's so bizarre. So I had to
yeah.
block her, and I was
Mhm.
actually trying to figure out how I could contact him and warn him about this person.
Oh, yeah.
Because she truly believed, because of her dreams, that they had this connection, and that through his songs he was trying to communicate with her. And yeah, that was. I get a lot of weird
Yeah.
people that.
Oh, I
Contact.
can't even
Do
fathom.
people like
some of the
murder
things.
people in their dreams and you dissect it as like you have an instinct inside of you that wants to like kill?
That could be like a Minority Report where you're like, this person wants to do this.
Well, now
Yeah.
that's actually a difficult thing because murder is a common dream. Side note, O.J. Simpson was having recurring dreams of killing Nicole before he did.
Oh, wow.
So I do wonder how
Jeez.
much of those dreams that were probably just symbolic of his need to kill the relationship, not kill her, played into his motivation. But murder dreams,
wow.
yeah, they're actually death and murder in dreams is common. If you dream of your death, that will be connected to something in your real life that is ending or changing naturally. Whereas murder is a forced death. So if you dream of murder, that's connected to something in your real life that you need to force an end to. Like, for example, if you're trying to quit smoking, you may dream of murdering because that is a forced killing of the smoker self, the killing of
So it's
the
all-
addiction.
So it's all metaphors. That's kind of like my
Yeah.
takeaway. It's all metaphors.
Yes.
We talked
which
about
is
the golf
really
one. I got to
interesting.
get one off my chest. The one that I
Please.
have probably more than the golf in the restaurant is I'm in my house. I'm walking on the street. It's a beautiful day outside. Mostly I'm looking out a window and you see either a nuclear bomb coming down or a meteor coming down. And it's that sense of turning around to the family and being like, there's nowhere we can go right now. It's about to be over. And that crazy anxiety that fills the room of like, we're about to die. That one I get a lot. I get that one, and then I get driving on a bridge and like someone either cuts me off or I try and make a crazy jump and like someone's like, you can make the jump, and you jump, and then you're just like going off the bridge and you see the water, and that thinking of like, uh-oh, it's about to happen in like 5 seconds. We're about to hit this water. And then you wake up and you're like, whoa, hated that.
Okay,
And it
so
actually bleeds so much that when I look at like a blue sky, sometimes I'll be like, I really hope I don't see that streak of light coming down because I've seen that before.
Right. All right. So rather than the symbolism, let's go ahead and address this via the thought that you had in the dream. Because that really is the root. That's the meat of everything, your dream thoughts. So in your end of the world dreams, your thought that stood out to me was, it's about to be over. So that same thought should apply to something in your real life where you would think to yourself, it's about to be over.
Right. Or it's just the anxiety of dying, maybe. I mean, because that like,
I mean, is that on your mind all the time? You freak out about dying?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I'll
I would
answer that
say-
for you.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not like it doesn't like take over my life, but I definitely am like scared of that. Like, you know, just like the thought of it. Yeah, like, you know, my mind just races. That's just like, yeah, the thing that gets to me is like knowing you're gonna die. Like I just said, I got knocked out with anesthesia. I got a colonoscopy, and like knowing you're about to go to sleep gives me immense anxiety. Like the fact of like I'm consciously just looking at you and you're telling me in 2 seconds that I'm no longer going to be doing that. I can't like wrap my head around it, and then I end up falling asleep and I wake up. Yeah, no, I know this is a lot to unpack. I didn't know.
Wow, it was a perfect answer.
Moving on.
You know, I don't know. I just,
Frankie, we stopped recording 15 minutes ago.
you know, I just, you know, I'm a deep thinker. I don't know. I just,
we did?
my mind keeps racing.
No.
No, we're just kidding. We're just kidding.
So
Yeah.
that's my piece.
Okay, so here's what you do. The next time you get one of those dreams, this is another very helpful tip, and you're welcome. The next time you get one of these dreams, you need to look at the day before, because your dreams will always be connected to the previous day, because your dreams are a continuation of your thought stream. They're like a nightly commentary on your day. So when you get one of those dreams, look at the day before. Did anything happen that day that made you think about your mortality? And if not, then it's likely a metaphor for something else that you have concern is coming to an end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. I know I'm going
It
to
is-
dream of something crazy tonight. I guarantee it now.
It is so interesting to, you know, my kind of biggest takeaway from all of this is that your dreams, sort of what you said at the end there, your dreams are a commentary on your previous day's thoughts. And so, you know, I've talked a lot about, I can't believe that the human body, from a physical and like illness standpoint, I've said many times, I can't believe that the human body is so insanely advanced that it doesn't just tell us precisely what's going on. Like if it's fighting cancer cells at a very early stage that are like almost indetectable, why doesn't it just like tell us that so that we can beat it earlier? And people have responded, have been like, yeah, it's called symptoms. Like your body does tell you things. And so the kind of what I've gathered, it reminds me a lot of that, and that, you know, we fight our minds a lot.
Yes.
There's been so much over the last decade in advancement in like mental health and being aware of mental health, that's one of the hardest things in the world, day in and day out, for any human being to do, is like control your mind, feel good about yourself, feel accomplished, feel loved, all of those things that I've really taken away that it feels like in your dream state, that is a big part of almost like your mind is having a therapy session with itself.
Yes.
And that you can learn a lot from that if you are conscious of trying to learn from your dreams, which I don't feel like I've done a good job of at all. I wake up and like I said, I remember 1% of whatever happened and I don't think much about it and I go on about my day. But even, you know, when you're talking about, well, it sounds to me like maybe you're really struggling to get stuff off the ground. And I would say, yeah, I think like even our producer Brendan would tell you, like, I have a million ideas probably all the time. And maybe a handful of them or 5% of them we fire upon, and some of them work out great. But it's like, there's probably a lot of them that ended up just being left as like an idea that I could have really acted upon or started or got off the ground or whatever.
Tee
So
off on.
There you go.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I have
So,
some
yeah,
of my
that's-
clients, to expand upon what you're saying, some of my clients schedule their session with me right before they go into their therapist. because the dream will shine a light on the issue, and then they take that to the therapist. And I've even taught mental health practitioners how to incorporate dream work into their practice. And they have told me that once they started doing that, they get to the issue even faster. Something that might take 10 sessions takes 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because your dreams
Yeah.
are brutally honest. They shine a light directly on the issue. It's like, this is the problem. This is what you need to work on.
Yeah, it's funny. I've got a 8-year-old nephew and a 5-year-old niece, and they're brutally honest just about stuff that they like observe, and it always makes me laugh about how as you get older as a person, we kind of like sugarcoat or we bullshit stuff all the time to people, but kids haven't learned that skill yet, so they're just like they just say what's on their mind, and that makes me think of that with your subconscious is just like, no, dude. This is what's
My wife's
going
little
on.
cousin
Bang.
came over the other day. He's like 12, and he's like, "You look so much better with makeup on." He said that to her,
Oh, wow.
and she's just like, we were like sitting around the house in the morning, and he came over, and it was just like, "You are so honest. It's crazy."
Oh.
It made us laugh though. He really has they have no filters at all.
None.
Like they're
No.
just, yeah.
None. And yeah, I guess your dream state, you got no filter with yourself.
Yeah.
Just like you're
Exactly.
saying.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
it
I
will
like that.
bring to the surface and try to make you work on issues that you push aside during the day, or even issues from long ago that are still affecting you because you never properly worked on processing them. And so that's why, like, working with people who are experiencing post-traumatic stress, dream work can be unbelievably beneficial to overcoming the wound that they still hold. It'll help you heal the wound.
Wow. I mean, it makes so much sense. It makes
does.
so much sense. It's a, yeah, it gives me a whole new understanding of dreaming and dreams in general, with the kind of the metaphorical takeaway. And then I think we thought I've always sort of thought of dreams as very literal, like Frankie's saying that, him thinking of, if it's dying or driving off a cliff or something, it's just like I'm fearing dying. It's like no. Metaphorically, there's something in your life most likely that you have extreme anxiety about ending or something along those lines. And so just not thinking of dreams as literal, because your mind wouldn't just say it that obvious to you. It's not, if you have this fear, you don't just continue that fear directly in your dream. It's like your dreams are actually coming at you with a metaphor of like, how can we fix this? How are we going to address this type of issue, which is incredibly interesting to me.
Yeah, so your dream is saying, okay, let's look at it this way. Maybe this will help you get the point.
Right.
Wow.
Lauri
Yeah.
Loewenberg. So LauriLoewenberg.com. I know that's the website. People go on there. Where's the biggest spot for people for is it a platform? Is it the one-on-one sessions? What's the biggest plug that we can give for you, because you're awesome?
Well, thank you. Yeah, if you want a session with me, we can do it over the phone or video. And I have different levels, different spans of time that we spend together. LauriLoewenberg.com is the site, but Lauri Loewenberg is hard to spell. So if you just Google Dream Expert, I'll be like first, second, and third one that pops up. And that's where you can set up a one-on-one
Look at
with me. You can also follow me
SEO.
on social media, all my social media, TikTok, Instagram, X, and Facebook, and YouTube are all Lauri the Dream Expert, Lauri, Lauri the Dream Expert.
Amazing, Lauri. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate the time. I think people are going to absolutely love this entire conversation. I think it's, we sometimes go off the rails on stuff and people will watch. I think this was sort of a version of us going off the rails with someone like directing us back onto the rails and
Who knows
giving us
what they're talking
answers on
about?
how we ended up there the whole time, right? Which is nice. So we very much appreciate the time.
Well, thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with you as well.